I learnt to train with positive reinforcement at the Natural Animal Centre, and at that point it felt like kind of a huge kind of epiphany that I could train horses without using physical force or fear to make them do things. So that was huge. It was really exciting to be able to train horses without touching them, just literally through clicking or whatever marker you use, and then giving them a treat. So that felt really exciting, and I kind of went crazy, and I was training everything, you know, lots of things that they really didn't need to learn. So I put Silver learn to distinguish colours, Bartley learnt the Spanish walk, things like that. So I kind of went just training mad, because I felt this pressure that as a behaviourist you need to be able to train horses, that you need to have lots of experience, and you need to be able to basically make them do things. And that was the place I was kind of at. When I met the Meadow family 3 years ago now, I just stopped riding completely, because they changed the way that I looked at horses in a whole new perspective. I kind of lost my want for them to do things. Because with the Meadow family, you know, they've been free for all their life, so, you know, every day they show up as themselves. There's no conditioning, there's just them. And then I didn't want to squash that and condition them to, you know, every time they see something, target it. They don't need to do that, you know. I just want them to be themselves and to follow their intrinsic motivations, not be conditioned to behave in a certain way. So that was a big thing for me, kind of stepping away from training and moving towards just being with them in a kind of equal way. I do use positive reinforcement. It is the best way to train something, I feel, but there's also, it's still manipulation. You're still trying to get them to do something that perhaps they don't want to do. I mean, really, we've done very little training. The only things that I really need them to be able to do are to stand still for the vet to do something with them, so to check their heart or to give them an injection if they needed to have their teeth done or something like that. And then so they need to stand still for the vet. And number two, they need to have their feet picked up in case they have something wrong and I need to check for a stone or da-da-da-da. And then the third thing that I would like them to be able to do, but they don't necessarily have to, is to be led, so that they can go out for walks, which I think is for their welfare, is more of a enrichment thing, that they can go out and see new things and extend their home range, explore, eat new plants that we don't have in here, and that's more of a happiness thing, an addition. So apart from those three things, there's really nothing else that they need to do. They just can be themselves. So I guess it's, how do you interact with someone who is a different species? Sometimes that's difficult for people, you know, people who don't know dogs. You know, if a dog jumps up on them, like, what do I do? You know, so it's learning, and I guess it's a sense of education. It's people need to be taught what the body language of the horse means. So, you know, it's very common to see kind of pictures of people who love their horses, but for me, I can see that the horse is in pain or they're fearful, but for the person, they think it's fantastic. Look at me and my horse. But it's just a sense of education of reading the horse's facial expressions and his gestures to understand what they're saying. Then you can just learn from your horse what they like, what they don't like, and they'll tell you very distinctly. Here we go. No, that's not good enough. Down here will do. Yep. You know, Buddy now has learnt to tell you that he wants his rump scratched, which is a new one for him. In the beginning, he would come up and ask for his chest to be scratched. He'd just kind of walk up and present like that. But then now he'll spin and he'll go, scratch my bum, please. And that's just learnt through trial and error. He just learned that's what happens if he does that. So, you know, you just kind of need to be, I think it's being aware of them in the moment and watching them so that you can, well, you can see what they like and what they don't. I think that's the difference. Training is, you want someone to do something, so you teach them a cue and then you get the behaviour and then you reinforce. So there's three parts to it. To this, it's just, well, he wants a scratch and he'll ask for it. you know, I'm not saying scratch, you know, I'm not saying come and do this now. Like, if he doesn't want to scratch, I don't care. I'd prefer not to, really. I get dirty hands and it's tiring and all of that. But, you know, you do things for the ones you love, don't you? So that's what we do.
How do you think most horse people would react to Buddy communicating with them in the way that he communicates with you?
I think maybe just warning. If you give people a warning that he may turn his bum on you, but he wouldn't kick you. He's never kicked anyone. So just say he might turn his bum, he just wants a scratch. And he's funny as well. If you're doing it wrong, he'll tell you. He'll just keep walking backwards slowly, like, try it again, Emily. And then you've got to keep trying. And then when he stops, you know you're doing it right. So you just got to listen, really. He's very gentle. He's never once bit me. Ah, well, not my skin anyway. Not my skin. Hey, Jackie.
What about the way that Jack is with you when you scratch him? Do you think that would perhaps frighten people if a horse were to interact with them that way?
Yeah, he's quite intense, is Jack. He's a very serious soul. But, yeah, so he rests his chin on my shoulder, and sometimes he's really quite heavy on it, and sometimes you can feel his teeth, but he's never once bit my skin. I think he's just trying to groom me, you know. If I wear a hairband, he pulls it out too. But he's very gentle. He don't pull my hair. Literally, just takes the hairband, pulls it out. It's Jack. Oh, people are gonna think, what are they doing, Jackers? Yeah. You are a funny boy. But he's gentle, but he's never bit a bee, so that's a good thing. Because he could easily have done, even by accident, but he never has. He's being affectionate, you know.
What do you think about people who have been around horses for many years in the traditional way?
They think he was rude, but I would say they're rude. Very good. Dirty hands. Back to it on his terms. If he wants to talk, we talk. If not, not. When he's had enough, enough. Or when I'm too tired.
You've changed a lot in 3 years. How have the Meadow Ponies changed?
Well, they're still somewhat feral. They can pick their feet up. I can lead them if I really want to. But apart from that, no, not so much really. They're still just doing what they've always done. And that's, yeah, so I guess, you know, normally when horses and people get together, it's the people who want to train the horse and the horse must change. But it's with the other way around really. They haven't changed, but I've changed. My expectations and really my thoughts. It's not just on horses, it's kind of animals in general, you know, and yeah, everything really.